Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Joel. Joel, how was your morning so far?
So far, so damn good. You know what I mean? How about
good.
your morning, sir?
That was good. It was. I think we got the workout of the week today.
I will be joining this afternoon.
It's very exciting. Today's a special day. Today is the 50th. Now, special is arbitrary because why is 50 special?
I don't know. Everyone celebrates the 50th for some reason.
Right.
Half a century.
Absolutely. 50 is a lot. But I was realizing.
Because I was thinking about that too. I was like, hey, it's the 50th. But I was like, wait, why is it? Like, what happened to the 40th and the 30th?
So
and the
50th episode means 50th week in a row
50th week in
that
a row.
we've done this. That means we're 2 weeks away from completing a year.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. I thought about that too. I was like, damn, it's already almost been a year.
It's almost been a year, which is crazy because if you asked me, I would guess we started in October. We actually started at the very beginning of May.
Yeah, that was when Casey was around.
Yeah, long time ago. So it's been.
So then we probably should have celebrated our 42nd.
See, but that it gets complicated.
It gets complicated.
And so today we
We'll just call that our 1 year.
we asked in our private Facebook group or the Black Wolf Facebook group for ideas on topics of discussion, and we had 2 recommended to us. And then Mila has thrown another one our way. Thank you, Mila.
Thank you, Mila.
And I don't really have anything else to talk about, so I wanted to kind of just jump into that. And Mila asked us, how do we start working together? And so
that's a good one.
it was 3 years ago now, and it was in Lindale Park, which is a beautiful historic neighborhood on the other side of I-45, so it's on the east side of I-45.
It's a stone's throw away.
It is. It is probably, if we jogged to the old location, it'd be less than a mile.
Yeah, we wouldn't be winded.
We would not, well, I haven't worked out in a while.
You've been working out.
I have been working out. You're right. I can't say that anymore. So we could definitely run there with maybe out with not being too winded. And I was running the show over there. It was a very different time, a very different space, a very different business. But to tell this story, I think Joel has the best perspective because it's more about a story of him making it happen. I had very little to do. I did not recruit him. I did not find him.
I found the gym.
He made it as easy on me as possible. So,
true.
Joel, how did it come to be that we started to work together?
Well, without all the other nonsense, I saw that on Instagram you had posted hiring on the Black Wolf CrossFit Instagram page. And before that, the last time I had seen you was for a free week in November of 2015, which prompted me to get my L1. Because I got my ass kicked on that week of CrossFit. And I didn't know how CrossFit worked because I remember one of the days I showed up twice. I showed up twice, and one day I was like, oh, it's the same workout all day. I didn't know that's how CrossFit worked. Because, different people, different groups of classes, different hours. People got to do things different times of day, yada, yada, yada. So after that week, I was like, man, I got to get into this. So I got my L1. I did it backwards. Some people just like do CrossFit first.
You really
did. I went all backwards. And then from there, months passed by, I shouted at another gym, and then I saw you had posted the hiring, and I was like, oh, let me go over here. Maybe he remembers me. Fun fact, my first impression of Ben, wow, this guy's a dick. But I will say I was late on my first day, so I was like, that's probably why. So there's that. I had missed my exit, showed up late. Ben was sitting against the wall, gave me that look like this motherfucker walking in here late. And I'm like, what do I do? And you're like, oh, go do this. I'm like, oh, this guy's a dick. But I understand that I was late, so my fault. Anyways.
And I was probably a dick.
Probably.
And I was
probably in a bad mood.
Sure, should have been on time.
Probably in a bad
I think late.
It was for 5 a.m. too. I know
responses to late people is something that I've somewhat improved on. Not completely. So don't get your hopes up. I'm not happy you're late, but now being actually mad that you're late. I've lost hope, but I let it come across as, hey, traffic happens, things happen.
Yeah.
It's harder to understand why you're late at 5 a.m. or late at 6 a.m., but there's no reason to get mad because what's going to change? I'm going to let you work out, and so as long as you're not chronically late, we're good. But back then, I could guarantee I was an asshole.
We'll say we have a good system starting to come about the lateness, though. If you miss the warm-up, you missed the class.
That's true.
You missed the warm-up. You missed the class. Remember that, folks. But moving on. So I saw the interview. I saw the post, and I was like, oh, I emailed you. I remember that I emailed you. I didn't shoot a text, even though I did have your number because I wrote it down when I stopped by and discovered it after going to a restaurant. I saw there were cars. It was late at night. I saw the big blue strip in the wall. You remember the blue wall ball stripe?
Yeah.
I was like, what is this place? Is this one of those CrossFit things?
That blue is called Clipper Ship Blue.
Clipper Ship Blue.
Clipper Ship Blue. Still
Might-
remember getting that from Lowe's, I believe.
Might bring it back. Might
Yeah.
bring it back on the wall. You never know. But from there, I came and interviewed you. I sent you an email. You sent me an email back. You invited me over, and then I showed up on the motorcycle.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep.
So probably got some douchebag points
No.
from the jump.
You're a real badass.
Oh, who's this guy coming in here with this motorcycle and his steel toe boots? Right after work. From there, we went through the question process. What are the interests? What do you want to get into? What are you into now? And then from there, it was just showing up one class. You gave me a class at a time, and my first solo class was the Thursday morning.
Yep.
Back then, we were doing ROM wads right after the workouts.
Which we've said this in previous podcasts. Joel was thrown in too early, but he was forged through the fire of hate and vitriol from unaccepting athletes, and now that's why he's such a great coach.
Yeah, like when they do them shows, it's medieval times. You got that the what's his name? Oh God,
I don't know where you going.
Wait,
with
hold
this.
on. What's the damn person that messes with the steel? I can't believe I forgot this.
The blacksmith.
The blacksmith.
The blacksmith.
Darn it. Blacksmith. They're beating on that sword, beating on it, and just beating the life
Those
out
were
of it
the
into
athletes
shape.
on Joel.
Yeah, that was the yeah. So everyone else was the blacksmith. I was the sword being forged.
But look
right?
at him now.
But look at me
Look
now.
at
Okay,
him
I
now.
was real timid and shy and always nervous and 3, 2, 1, go. Now I'm yelling and whatnot. But
And
yeah, it was-
whatnot.
Yeah, back then Aurelia was leaving,
Yep.
Adriana was leaving,
Yep.
so it was just Ben and I. It
Yep.
was Ben and
No.
I. And Nicole,
Yeah, I'll
Nicole
say,
too. Nicole too, yeah.
Don't sell her.
Yeah.
It's fun to sell her short, but don't sell her short.
No, Nicole was there as well. Actually, when I came back, Nicole was there just working out. She wasn't a coach yet.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't.
It was
a
that
coach yet.
summer.
Yeah,
It was
that
after
summer.
Adriana left. Was that the same year she left, or did Adriana leave a year later?
Summer 16.
Did you do a summer program? Did you do any kids?
No.
Okay, then it must have been that summer. Because
Yeah.
summer she was there. She did a kids program.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was summer 16.
Yeah.
Summer 16. There was songs about summer 16.
Yeah, and it's been a fairy tale since then.
Yeah, yeah. And
We lived happily ever after.
yeah, it's going great.
No stress whatsoever.
No
The
stress.
Disney movies are accurate. Everything
Yeah.
gets fixed when you
Mhm.
find your man. Just the heavens open up. and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that.
Rainbows and sunshine.
All of it.
So that's that. So
That's how it started.
thank you for asking.
And look at where we're at
Mila.
now. For those that don't know, we worked out on less space than what's on the freestyle mats.
yeah, we really did.
So,
It's about 1,800 square feet, but that
Mhm.
didn't include where all the equipment was. Everything
Mhm.
was stored in the same
Mhm.
room.
all the moving happened in one day,
Uh-huh.
February 2017.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yep.
because we had so much help. Y'all were
Then-
amazing.
yes,
all
thank
the
you for
trailers,
everyone
all
for
the
helping.
trucks, and we got into this giant building, and yeah, a day really.
Day.
It was pretty incredible. So
There's a picture online. You'd have to look for it, but it was the gym. People were sitting in the middle on the couch that's now right in front of the office,
yeah,
and it's just like it's just way different. You'd have to look. I'd have to find it,
we'll find it.
repost
I
it.
think that'd be fun to attach to this.
Little flashback Friday.
So that can kind of bring us to what Jay asked. Jay had asked us to talk about what we've kind of learned over the years. And since that can kind of be seen as a vague question,
Yeah, there could be so much.
let's go with, for you,
specify.
it could be as simple as, what are a few things that you've learned as a result of coaching? So directly from your interaction, leading people, teaching people, helping people. Because you weren't any sort of coach before this. It wasn't like you were a trainer.
No,
And so that was a big shift.
I was
it's-
looking into it,
Sure.
the whole coaching, personal trainer thing, because I felt like I could be a positive influence of sorts. I felt like I could be a leader within that realm. That was funny because this was told to me by some dude at another gym. Like he's real big into church, like real big into helping people. Like he has a I forgot what it's called. I haven't talked to this guy in forever since I left that place. But he had a what do you call it? An organization? Damn it. Foundation? Not a foundation. A nonprofit. He helped run a nonprofit at his church. And he read right through him. He's like, hey, you hold yourself to a high standard. If you don't meet it, like you're not happy with that. You're a leader and all this stuff. And like those words really stuck to me. And that was right before I got the L1. I was like, I should get my L1. Maybe this could like grow into something. And it really has. And I feel like I have like helped positively like influence people or like just I don't know, just been a good piece, like good energy for people to like feed off of and like actually feel motivated to do things. Not with like showcasing like, hey, look at my body, look at my abs, you could do this, but like let them know like, hey, like this is meant to be, this can be fun. Like you can work and have fun at the same time and work on your health and whatnot. So as far as that, like there's that, like being a positive influence inside the gym and somewhat outside through Instagram, but like the social media thing, like that's a tricky thing to work in its own. But networking has been a big thing, like getting to like know people. Like you remember back in the day where people were like, oh, no new friends. These are my friends, like no new friends.
Sure.
You remember that? So I was never really into that. Like I've always liked expanding my circle, and I feel like here my circle has expanded beyond what I ever thought could have been.
Sure.
Like my circle of friends. Like I have so many friends here, so many connections, so many people willing to help. Like there are so many people here that do so many different things. Like, hey, I know this guy that does that. Maybe I could have help here.
Right.
Reaching out. And I feel like that's been a big thing. Also like understanding like the troubles that people have that aren't fitness related, that affect their fitness. Like being more aware of that has helped me become like a better coach.
Yeah.
Like knowing that, it's not just that it's not that, you're eating bad. Like there's other things affecting why you eat bad. Maybe you have a shitty day, like not a shitty job, but like you're not a fan of your job,
Might be a shitty job.
Yeah, or probably have a shitty job. Like that's usually the norm. Or like maybe you're being in some sort of way neglected within your relationship, or just, I don't know, there's just so many factors that affect how people perform or how they act. And it's like being more aware of that now. I've gotten better at reading people. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So like, I don't know. It's so strange. Like and also like, I brought this up to you like a long time ago on the podcast, that every day we're interacting with so many people. Some people don't do that. Like it's just home, work, go home, and at work it's just they're interacting with one person, and it's that one person they need to get the job done, and that's all they want to do.
Right.
And here we get to interact with all sorts of walks of life throughout the day.
Yeah,
It's pretty nuts.
I think that's yes. You really nailed it with the network. No matter what walk of life you come from, there's someone different in here.
Yeah, yeah.
And for me, some of my closest athletes did not come from the same neighborhood I came from, did not come from the same schools I came from. And I'm really, really fortunate to know that. At the other end, there are people that are way more educated than me, way more experienced than me, and I'm fortunate to know them because we need to know there's a book, the Dan Millman book I always talk about on here, The Way of Peaceful Warrior. It talks about how we are all the same. No, I'm sorry, it's Four Agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz, the Four Agreements. We are all the same. We should be able to see ourselves in each other. But the world creates this fog that prevents us from seeing that, and what can encourage hate or encourage criticism. And so I meet someone that is much more affluent or more educated than me, and I can judge them right off the bat, or I can see what they have to offer.
Yeah.
And I can see who they truly are. And that brings me to the second thing, which you touched on. What I've learned the most, and I've always had an idea of this because it worked for me, what resonated with me, but what I've had to figure out, if you are not willing to demonstrate your vulnerabilities openly, then you cannot expect true buy-in from people you are trying to lead, people you're trying to help. If you always, and I see this in a lot of coaches and a lot of personal trainers where they play the game. I used to struggle with that.
Oh.
It reminds me of, actually, I'll be real specific. It reminds me of like passive income videos on YouTube. Seems like every guy that does a passive income video on YouTube, which is like, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, any video where it's like, make $1,000 from your bed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that on YouTube right now.
6 easy ways to make $1,000 in 1 month.
Literally. That's, I think, the video I watched yesterday. And every guy starts with, I used to be you. And you're looking at this chubby, ugly dude, and you're going, you're still me, bro. Like, you're still, what? Just because you're about to tell me how you made $1,000 on something that your mom bought you doesn't mean you're not me. Like, but that's their line every time. But what happens? I disconnect from them. as soon as you're better than me, then I don't need to learn from you.
Yeah.
I want to learn from someone that's in it with me.
Yeah.
And so for us, if it's something that we've overcome,
Mm-hmm.
you know, an easy one is like having the mindset to attack a barbell. That's easy for you. That's easy for you. So it would also be easy for you to look at an athlete that struggles with that and be like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And and that's not even not being a good coach. It's literally like, it's easy. Just pick it up and throw it.
Yeah.
But it's understanding that just because you've overcome it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean everyone else has, and doesn't mean it will be easy for them to do. You need to be
Yeah.
in there with them. You need to be telling about the time that you were scared to do it.
Yeah.
You need to be telling about the time that you couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite stories, the overhead squat. And I cannot empathize. My story doesn't do it justice. Logan Clark was the coach of my class. We did Nancy at 8:30 at 15:25 back in 2011, and I got smoked. And there was
Nancy.
nobody that you would have considered an athlete in that class. I got like, it was 23 minutes for me. The average on Nancy's 15 to 17. Okay,
Yes.
and I got smoked by, and I'll be very upfront, a bunch of women that had no intention of working out hard, and they crushed me. I couldn't figure it out. It was so humbling.
What?
And
I'm a guy.
I didn't humble myself then. I let my ego. I did 95 the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Not a win.
That's the
Not
worst.
a win.
That's the worst.
And so now I get to tell people, because I watch them struggle. So I'm like, hey, it's okay to not be able to figure this out.
Yeah.
That is totally normal. This is
Yeah.
weird. What I'm asking you to do is totally weird. But if I can't tap into that vulnerability, because even in that, where I come up to you and I say, hey, man, it's cool. This is weird.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh, you're just saying that. So then I
No,
sometimes
I
have
was
to
there.
follow up with like, no. Let me tell you a story about my ass getting smoked by people.
Yeah.
And it was all because I let my ego get in the way. It is okay to not understand something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have to be able to be truly authentic. And that means we have to be confident enough in self to open ourselves up to, or open up those vulnerabilities to our athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And
I say it all the time to newer athletes. Like, it took me forever to get this movement, so I do not expect you to get it right now. Just do what you can right now. Do what I tell you to do. I'll help you out as much as
the
possible.
coaches that have had the hardest time assimilating into our culture are the coaches that have had the hardest time opening up about their vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that have always had it figured out. They always know too much. They always are smarter. And you go, I get it, man. Maybe you are. They're not. But maybe you are. But it doesn't matter if you are.
Yeah.
Because you still have to be able to strip yourself down. One of my favorite stories is at my old gym the first gym I owned, one of my coaches went to a USAL level 1 cert. If you want to be an Olympic weightlifting coach, it's kind of the entry level certification. But if you're a CrossFit coach, especially a CrossFit coach who knows your stuff, it's not really necessary. If you go, it's real fundamental stuff, and there's nothing wrong with fundamentals. But my point is, you could legitimately go and learn very little for how much you pay and the 2 days it takes. Okay? Well, here's my thing. If you're going to go to something, I think we can learn from anything. I think we can learn from anything. Okay? Even if it's what not to do. Even if it's, oh, man, I didn't like how long we were with the PVC pipe. I don't want my athletes to feel that. There's always something you could learn. And I asked him when he got back, I'm like, hey, man, what'd you learn? And he literally goes, nothing.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, I get it. But, like, did you take anything from it? And he goes, no, it's pretty much a waste of time. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. Because we always have we should never be too good for stuff.
Yeah.
And so I've learned that, and my clients, the athletes here have taught me that, because if I do get a big head, if I do get a little inside myself, if I get stuck in my feelings and I'm too good to come back down to earth, they let me know, man, because it doesn't work. The energy in the class is weird, and it's on me, not on them. And so having to be truly authentic, and guess what? It also goes like when you're struggling. If you're not having a good day, it's a lot better for you to say up front, hey, man, it's been a rough day.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to get through this. It's going to be a great class. But when I don't say that up front and I try to fake it, one, I never make it.
Yeah.
Literally have never made it on a bad day without, like, burning up some point.
Yeah.
Like a little snap, a little miscalculation. And two, when I do say it up front, everybody kind of, like, the tension in the room goes away because they can feel your bad day already.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to be transparent. You have to be honest. I think transparency is really, really vital. And that's something that they taught me very well.
Weird thing you can't explain, but you could feel the energy in the room.
Yes.
You could definitely feel when someone has bad or good energy going through them. It's weird. It's something we can't explain yet because we just brush it off. But I really believe in, like, the energy you give off, people will feel it. People could definitely feel that.
Well, I know you believe it. You believe it because it's true, man. That if there's any argument, I cannot imagine what the argument would be, because we can use me as an example. everybody in this building knows when I'm being an asshole. And I don't mean from hearing me. Like if I'm in a bad mood, and I've always said if I step outside this office door, the whole gym feels it. And I'm not trying to be like self-centered. I'm saying like we have power. We have and not coaches, everybody, every human being has power, and it's energy, and you emanate energy. It's an aura. If it's that's too hippy dippy for you, that's fine. But like, come sit next to me when I'm being an asshole. Even if I'm not being an asshole to you, you don't want to be next to me. I'm ruining your day.
Dogs could feel it, you know.
My Jax is hypersensitive to my emotion.
It's so cool.
Like he can feel my mood change without me taking any action. If I get news on the phone, he can't even hear it. He like senses it, and he'll either rub up against me, come like lean, like real awkward, like lay into me, or he'll get away from me.
Yeah. Say, hey, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry. It's gonna be okay.
If there's any anger in my voice, like not even at him, if I just take a deep aggressive sigh in a closet, he'll go get in the shower.
Shit.
Like he feels it. He's super sensitive to it. And I'm grateful for that because it teaches me how powerful we are.
Yeah.
And so
it makes you self-aware.
I have to be responsible for my energy on you, my energy on athletes, my energy on everybody else. Because if my dog's feeling that, I know that y'all can feel it too. And
in some way,
it's true. When you're in a great mood, man, the whole building is better. Like when we can't do it for ourselves, we do it for other people.
Yeah.
And we say that a lot. And I think people roll their eyes. Literally, someone rolled their eyes at me once in a class, and I wanted to ask her to leave. Because I mean it. And that's the stuff that really means something to me. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for other people. And for me, what I have to work on, what I've been working on is like, sometimes we think it's okay to be in a bad mood because like I'm not affecting anybody. Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know? No?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're just existing next to somebody, and what if you're in a public space and they're having a real bad day, and then they get your bad vibes, and that push them over the edge.
Yeah.
Whatever that edge may be, you push them over the edge.
Yeah. People are crazy.
Like we have responsibility to manage ourselves, and we have to do our best to make the best of situations. And that's something that was not something I agreed to a couple years ago, but the evolution of this business and working with these athletes, it's something that has come into focus for me, and it's something I'm actively working on. So,
and then it shows that you're not alone too. When you like show your vulnerabilities to other people who have those, some people may have the same vulnerability as you, you may be going through the same things, living two totally different lives. And then it shows that, hey, we have a connection here, even though it's not the best connection to have, but we are relatable right here. So you become closer to that athlete just for that. So that's a big thing. That's a big thing.
I think you're spot on, man. Spot on. So today's coffee, you went back to Boomtown, correct?
Correct. Of course.
How was Boomtown this morning?
Good, fast. Started with the line. I was like, but went through quick. You know, it went by quick. It went by fast. I have an iced Americano this time. You know, I really like Americanos. I feel like I like espresso more now.
Well, I do now, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
How fast do you drink it?
Like a coffee.
Okay. Like, have you ever just sipped on a shot though?
A shot? Well, okay.
I feel like
a shot.
Yeah,
like
just a shot of espresso.
Not on ice. Not
on ice. Not in your coffee. Like, have you ever sipped on one?
Not anytime recently.
I feel like I could do that. Like I kind of on one of the Saturdays, me and Miranda, like I had it out, but I just like took sips and sips and sips till it was gone.
Right.
This is enjoyable. Like I really like espresso.
I'll tell you the iced Americano I make off that machine is pretty delicious. It's creamy. It's really, really delicious. And have you had the blonde roast Americano, iced Americano at Starbucks? I enjoy that as well.
Good stuff right there.
It's not as creamy as that. I think these were better, honestly. But it's really good.
Yeah, I think it's lighter.
To me, it's better than the normal iced Americano. It's real good.
Well,
stuff.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but many people, like, contrary to like the most common belief, a shot of espresso has less caffeine than a cup of coffee. It's a volume thing, you know. It's a volume. It's the ratios. So you could get away with drinking multiple espresso shots throughout the day because it's less caffeine per shot.
Okay.
Like multiple cups of coffee, you're doing way more caffeine than multiple shots in a day. Because some people, like, I was listening to a podcast, and this one who's like, yeah, I do multiple shots in a day. And he's like, well, that makes sense because there's less caffeine in a shot. I mean, so if you had espresso, like the amount of espresso, like a cup of espresso and a cup of coffee, okay, yeah. That's a shitload of caffeine right there. But because it's only a shot at a time or even a double, like, I think even a double's still around the same, like almost the same as a cup of coffee, if not barely a little more.
I think it's very interesting. As science improves, as monitoring things improve, I am not going to be shocked at all if like over 50% of the impact of coffee is placebo.
Yeah.
Like, you give me a nice coffee, I drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Next day, give me a nice coffee and put a shot in it. I drink it and I act like I'm wired. Research then suggests that actually it was the same stimulus, and that actually I shouldn't have been more wired at all because maybe I was more tired.
Yeah.
But it was because I believed in that espresso shot.
Well,
And the mind is that powerful.
I mean, yeah, I believe that. I believe that to an extent. Although there was that one episode where we like had multiple espresso shots, and then people said that we were talking way too fast. So
Then why was that more? Why did we get more wired on that?
I don't know.
Was it because it was so fresh?
It's possible.
Because you ground it and then you poured it, and it was like it was from whole bean to drinking in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
It could be.
Unlocked more.
It's possible.
I know for me for a fact, like if there was a doctor out there that could measure this, I know for a fact that coffee is at least 50% placebo to me. That just the act of having it makes me feel awake.
Oh yeah, I mean, I go out and buy coffee a lot less. One, because I'm making my own, but two, like one day I was like, man, I go out to buy coffee way too much. Like it's just because I want to do it. Like it's not even a need anymore. It's just a want.
Yeah.
You know, like you should. I don't know about you should, but coffee should be like I need the caffeine. I need that little energy boost. That's it.
Right.
Now it's more of a pleasure thing. Now it's a treat. Like, oh, I want some coffee. Like I can find myself just wanting coffee throughout the day. Like I don't need any more caffeine. You know, I haven't bought a Bang in so long. Now what I'm doing is just my pour over in the morning and trying not to have as much caffeine. I feel like that helps a little bit.
Helps what?
I don't know. Not have too much caffeine.
Okay.
Who knows?
Does it make you sleep better?
I feel like so. I feel like I fall asleep quicker.
Okay. Because I feel like that'd be an obvious impact.
Yeah, I feel like I fall asleep quicker. Like I'm not staring at the wall so much.
That's
Also, who knows what's in a Bang? You know? Yeah.
Oh no. who energy drinks in general? Like
Yeah.
I enjoy Bangs. I think
They're good.
I like Bangs,
They're
but
good.
if you think that's going to get me to say that I think they're healthy
Oh, yeah.
or good choices,
No,
no, I
no,
think it's a
definitely
little
not.
bit of a vice for me. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy the sweet flavor, and it tastes like chemicals. It tastes like it's manufactured, and I
What
think
fruit did they get this Bang from? You know?
I think that can be okay, but it's I'm not drinking it because I'm like I think this is a superior supplement for working out.
Yeah.
I mean, I slam some pre-workout powder like
It has CoQ10 and creatine and BCAAs.
which it probably doesn't even have. Like you put a little or eyedropper in there of that, and then say it's full.
And just be a carbonated juice is all it is.
I mean, literally, probably,
Idiots. They
probably
think
what
there's.
we're dealing with.
They think they're getting energy from this.
Well, I mean, but it could be, right? Like that literally is probably the business.
Yeah. They could all be a lie. They could all be a lie, folks.
Business is funky. You get to kind of say whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
I mean, Pepsi got pissed off at CrossFit for changing one of their Gatorade logo to, was it hyponatremia?
Mm-hmm.
Hyponatremia. But, I mean.
Yeah, if you don't
CrossFit's
know,
in the right.
PepsiCo sent CrossFit a cease and desist letter because of their campaign for hyponatremia as it pertains to Gatorade and what they're calling Pepsi's deadly Gatorade campaign.
Yeah.
And so they used some artwork that depicted Gatorade in an unflattering light, I believe is the way to.
Instead of Gatorade, it said hyponatremia.
Yeah.
You know, the orange bolt with the green
But
letters.
as CrossFit said, CrossFit's not going to back down from that. So they let Pepsi know that
They're in the right.
they fell within the fair terms of use or fair use terms of whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
And so they will not be ceasing nor desisting, and they're going to continue with the campaign. And it's a fascinating campaign because it does call to light some questionable research and some questionable practices. Gatorade is not the ideal replenisher of electrolytes, especially for not high-level athletes.
Yeah.
It's basically water and sugar, okay? And that's fine. That's fine. And if you like Gatorade after you run your 50 milers and at the rest stops and all that stuff, go for it. But the problem is, we have some of it here. When you're carrying it in here pre-workout, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Get some water and put a little sea salt in there, and that's all you need, okay? That's the sodium, the sea salt has the nutrients you're looking for to help you retain and stay hydrated.
It's too simple, bro. It's too simple.
I know it's too simple.
I
It's
need
too
my-
cheap, too. Like, I just saved you a ton of money. Don't buy Gatorade.
I need my colored, flavored artificially flavored, artificially
Oh, and that's
colored.
it, man. We got stuck on that as kids. They used to promote that to kids all the time.
Mhm,
So then you
mhm.
come up thinking Gatorade's the tits, and
Michael Jordan sweating neon,
those are
neon
cool
green.
commercials.
Those are cool commercials.
Really cool commercials.
Those were some pretty cool commercials. That's how they get you. Like, oh, that's cool. I want to sweat Gatorade.
I want to sweat Gatorade. How do
Yeah.
I sweat Gatorade, Mom?
Yeah, how do I sweat Gatorade?
Mom, get me purple.
There you go.
Give me purple Gatorade.
My favorite was the lime.
Mine was I like the orange or the yellow. I like the basics.
You
The,
can't.
the
you can't
purple
get
frost was good. Real
Purple Frost
good.
was good. Yeah, it was.
Purple frost was good.
Purple Frost was the shit.
But like when I was hungover back in the drinking days, orange Gatorade, frosty orange, like freeze it a little bit. Ooh, that was good
Mm.
hangover medicine.
You
right
can't.
there.
You can't mess up orange. How did we get here?
I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know how we got here, folks. What were you talking about?
You start talking about PepsiCo.
That's true. That's very true. Let's rewind a bit. We were talking about.
We had gone through the what we have learned over the past few years from our
Mhm.
athletes, what our athletes have taught us, because we've
Mhm.
been very, very fortunate to work with so many amazing people.
You know, I can kind of say even the business side too. Like, we're discovering. Like, it may like we feel like we're stuck in a rut, but like we're really like kicking ass and we're doing better than most places that are like shutting down. Athletes being more open to telling us, hey, you're doing a great job. You know, like I feel like our people who've been here long as well have grown. Like they've evolved as well in character.
Yes.
Whether it's like making like whether it's physical progress or like whatever like that too. But like for the most part, I feel like our athletes who've been with us for a while have like evolved as well. Like become better community members, become better athletes for the most part. Like in terms of listening.
Well, look at how many different groups now are hanging out outside the gym,
Yeah.
and then look at how many of them aren't exclusive. They're letting it's always a different mix.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's plenty of cliques and plenty of gyms across the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are people here that I'm assuming are going to be lifelong friends now.
Yeah.
Like they are talking about whether it's weddings or babies or whatever. They're involving each other to a
Mhm.
very high degree, and they didn't know each
Yeah.
other from Adam.
There's-
Like they didn't know
yeah.
anything about each other.
Relationships
before
have
they walked
started here.
in. And yes,
I mean, this weekend,
Well-
Samantha and Ryan getting married.
Samantha and Ryan met
They
here,
met
getting
here.
married. Chloe and Chris will be getting married soon.
Yeah, they met here. That's nuts.
We've had about 7 babies here. Have an 8th one coming. And a lot of friendships. A lot of
Yeah.
friendships. And so, yeah, man.
Lots of friendships. Our mothers. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I think that's the best example of growth in my opinion is both parents, because they've both come out of their shell and grown much more comfortable in environments that they would have been and sometimes still are very intimidated by. And it's a testament to one, their intestinal fortitude, their choice to get better.
Mhm.
And it's also a testament to the people around them, accepting them and wanting them here and being welcoming, which then plays to your larger point of, as a community, our community has continued to evolve into better humans,
Mhm.
which is always the goal. The goal here is to evolve into better humans, not just better
Yeah.
performers, better humans.
Better humans.
You want to be a better person, and that means for yourself and for others.
Mhm.
And so I do think that
Just fitness is our vessel to get you there.
the
you know?
the mom thing is really, really powerful. Anybody that meets Dean, anybody that meets Sue, they're always blown away that moms are doing this, and they're putting up with their sons, bossing them around.
Yeah.
But 2, that they have such positive attitudes while they're in here, and they work so hard. And so, yeah, I think that they are a good example of the community, of the larger community,
Mhm.
in their attitude and the evolution of that. So I think that's fantastic. The business has changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Expansion of sorts.
yeah.
How we run things. I don't know. It's
Ye-
definitely changed.
It's had to, because the demands are different. The demands we place on ourselves and the demands of the athletes are different.
Mhm.
And the fitness industry has evolved, and maybe not for the better, but it has at least moved the standard, and we have to continue to move with it.
Mhm.
And as you've said, gyms have closed. So many gyms have closed and are closing, or whatever, basically closing. And that is, yes, a nice, encouraging thing for us. But at the same time, it doesn't mean anything for us. We're not in competition with them. We're in competition with ourselves. And it doesn't matter what happens around the corner, what happens across the city, because what we do is so different than what they do. And not to pretend that we're not in the same activity. Hey, let's sweat and work out.
Yeah.
But I truly believe when you look at how other people run the show, first of all, they don't even see it as a show. They don't see it as a need to connect. We are doing something completely different. We're in a different business. We're in a different category. We are closer to – it's interesting because at times I think we're closer to a social club. We're closer to a church. We're closer to like a bar as it's depicted in TV, where people come together for one reason, but they end up leaving with friendships. Yeah, I don't think we're in the I've said this in blogs. I've said this to everybody I've ever hired. We are not in the gym business. We're not in the fitness business, because that then just makes it all I got to do is put you through a workout.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to care. Maybe about trainers supposed to, they don't though. They don't. And so why should we look at ourselves as being the same as them if they are operating to a standard that we don't want to operate to? And that's something that's evolved, because for a while I did think we were in the gym business, and I kind of ran my head against the wall struggling with that. Because if we're in the gym business, then we got to be gimmicky, we got to be fatty, we got to get different machines in here and all this stuff. And then in 2 years we got to change it, you know? And we don't prioritize the betterment of our athletes, and that's not what I want to do. I don't know. It's all very, very interesting. That's all I got on that.
So Yada had a story from yesterday.
Okay.
They had an Easter egg hunt at her school.
Sure.
They had only 15 eggs in there.
15
It was for the
eggs.
faculty, so there's that. And she already she had her spot down. She already knew where she wanted to run, because it's like this one back office. Like she's like, okay, I'm gonna go that way. It's like the copy room, right? It's like there has to be one in there. And her thing was she sprinted over there, sprinted.
Yeah.
And like her thing was, her realization was, hey, I'm not tired from this sprint. Like, she raced another teacher there, and she felt fine afterwards.
Yeah.
Where in the past, it'd be like, I'm winded, but no, like, I'm fine. I'm great. Like, I just sprinted. She says she dropped her phone in the hallway. A teacher came over the room that found an egg, and she hit her in the eye on the way over there. Like, it was just one hell of a story. But like, her thing was like, I wasn't tired after that run. Like, I literally just 3, 2, 1, go, sprint.
Right.
I felt great.
Right.
I was like, shit, like that's where this comes into play. Like, it's not just like you're gonna get better at lifting weights. No, you're gonna get better at life.
Yeah.
Annabelle had a story how she had hiked up this hill in the near the river, like that used to like tire her out. I brought up Charlotte in the past, how she grows bamboo like in her, not by choice, but it just grows like crazy. And like, it used to take her days to get the job done as far as cutting it down. Now she gets it done in a few hours. Like this goes out. It's outside of the gym. You know, it's not just.
So we got some ideas, but let me speak to that as well. I completely agree. So the question that was related to us last night was kind of, how does our program or curriculum apply to?
Oh, now y'all want to.
Yeah, now that we're almost out of time.
Now that we're almost out of time.
I appreciate y'all for the topics. We'll get to some.
We'll write these down.
But because the sport thing's easy, because CrossFit is the foundation of it. Nutrition is the foundation of everything, and I put the hierarchy of performance on the Facebook page. I'll put it in the show notes for this podcast if you listen to it later. And it's a CrossFit Journal article, but basically at the foundation is nutrition. So even before general physical preparedness, which is just a general training program, which is what we do here, you have to eat right. If you're not eating right, then it doesn't matter if you work out, okay? Because you can't outwork a bad diet. We talked about that. But the reason that this curriculum or CrossFit prepares you for sport is because sport, when you train for a sport specifically, you are at odds with your health. You are not doing what's best for your health, especially once you get into the competitive structure. And what do I mean by that? Because surely an athlete is healthier than a sedentary person. Maybe, maybe not. And we're not even going to go into like trauma from the sports. We're not talking about football where you're hitting your head. We're saying that in football, you have to be very good at 5 to 15 seconds of effort. Mm-hmm. You've got to be very explosive and very like sprint fast. Mm-hmm. You do not need to be endurance fast. No. You do not need to have like long-term stamina because you're also subbed in and out of the game. So what you have to prioritize in order to succeed is that explosiveness. Well, unfortunately, anytime you go out of balance, you are now sacrificing health markers, and it is okay. It is okay. Runners out there, if you like to run, running is great. Running, cardiorespiratory, all that stuff. That is great. But you are sacrificing strength. You are sacrificing mobility if you do not also have a general physical preparedness program involved. So have you ever met a runner, especially like older runners run their whole life, and that's great. They love it. But like, I remember when I was doing the races, there was like every race had like a few of the older men and women, and they love to run. And it was amazing to see someone that was 50 or 60 or 70 trucking around these courses. But their positions were awful.
Hunched over.
Absolutely, because they didn't have a general physical preparedness to balance out.
They're so used to having their arms in a flex position that
They
they're
literally
shorten their biceps.
lived in a running position. They lived in a I'm finishing my last mile position. And so when they ran, they just exacerbated that position because they didn't have balance.
Yeah.
Okay? So running, you never would have a full range of motion in the squat, right?
Yeah.
So those tendons and ligaments never have to lengthen for that position. Well, that means stiff knees. That means stiff joints. So if you're coming to CrossFit 2 to 3 times a week and then
Step
doing your
back,
runs
too.
2 to 3 times a week, you're then getting that balance. You're getting blood through all of the tissue, not just the tissue you run just for running. And so I'm not picking on running. Running is amazing, amazing. It's just the most common sport that is taken part in.
See,
Okay?
it's also because it's an easy thing to do. Put on some running shoes and then go outside and enjoy the day. That's a good way to get your heart rate up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But add some squats and push-ups to that and some pull-ups. You'll be fine.
And so with what we do here, we have a little bit of a strength bias. We do lean towards strength, but we counteract that with longer workouts. We counteract that with plenty of running. We get told all the time we run too much,
Yeah.
which is not true.
Not true.
We
Not true
counteract
at
it
all.
with gymnastics, which all these things are a part of that hierarchy. And at the top of the hierarchy is sport. So really, before you go sprint a half marathon, you should be having a couple of months of general physical preparedness under your belt. You should be having some weightlifting, some gymnastics under your belt, because now you know your body is doing what it's capable of doing, and now let's see it perform in a specific endeavor. Theoretically, that is how this is supposed to go. Janai asked a great question. What is the most frustrating aspect of coaching, and what is the most rewarding? And without getting us in trouble here.
When people don't listen, when we scale them, that's the one.
You like
Hey,
that
do
one?
this, don't do that.
That one bothers you the most?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you to be a dick. I'm telling you because I see how you move. I see how you perform often. I'm scaling you so you could do the workout as I would do it.
Yeah,
with intensity.
I agree with that.
That's the most
Mine's a little bit
frustrating.
different, but speaking to that, because I've had issues with that this week actually, and it's only been one athlete, and she has access to this part of me more quickly than others. When people don't listen like that. And I'm not saying don't hear you. I'm not saying don't pay attention, because that's a whole different frustration. But I'm saying don't listen.
Yeah.
Like, you have eye contact, you say the words, you know they hear, and then they do not do. And I'm not talking about a cue in a weightlifting movement or anything. I'm saying, hey, 10-minute cutoff. At 10 minutes, you're done.
Yeah.
And then they're casually in the back corner continue to move.
Yeah.
Okay? When I say get your butt down in a plank hold, and you tell me that that's not how it's done. When I say that you're not standing all the way up in your squat, and you tell me that you are. Like, I don't know if you know this. We do this every day. We're fucking good at what we do. We are so fucking good at what we do. Like, I understand that you don't want your coach to be an expert, because, like, we're supposed to be just these bros that work out and we, like, live in pajamas and all this stuff. But that's not how we do things here. I'm sorry that was your coaches in the past, but we are experts. Doesn't mean we don't have more to learn. But when we say something, there are years of experience behind those
Shit,
words.
years, yeah.
Okay? Yes, there are things that maybe aren't ideal for you, or maybe you don't understand, and we do have to take the time to explain those, but we do that when we have that opportunity. So the most frustrating thing for me is when someone disregards something me or one of our coaches says as if they know better, when there's no reason they would know better.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, because you've been doing, and that's literally never been the case. In fact, the best coaches are the best athletes because they listen, okay? They understand what it's like to be led. The other thing that's most frustrating is, like, every time someone makes a class tougher to be led, I want to be like, hey, all you're telling me is that you have never been in a leadership position.
Yeah.
You have never once been asked to lead a meeting. You've never been once to stand in front of a class. You should be embarrassed because you are showing that you have no idea what the expectation is when someone is leading you.
Yeah.
My thing is, and this is more from being an idealist, it is really, and it's not fair. It's frustrating for me. This is personal. It's not fair to the athlete. When an athlete wants this to just be a workout, it's a letdown for me. And again, that's not right. It's people should be able to come in here and they just want to get their workout in. But, like, whether it's like wanting them to be excited to be here,
Yeah.
and it's just because that's like,
I'm just here because I like to eat cupcakes.
this job is too hard. Like, the stress of this is too hard for you to be apathetic while you're in these four walls. But I would say that what you have has more weight in terms of general conversation.
Well, I mean, like just don't, like, for you, it'd be more like you would be a totally not you, but like the athlete that you're just talking about would be totally better if they just came in and said hi to everyone. Like that'd be big stuff. Like you say hi to everyone. You're friendly. Like if you just want to come in here and get a workout in, at least be friendly to everyone.
Right.
Be open to a little conversation. Don't just come in and come out. Bye. And if that is the case, like maybe you have something going on where that's all you can do, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. Actually, I had an athlete be like, hey, I do this because that. Like, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. Now I know.
Absolutely.
Now I know.
Absolutely.
Now I don't think you're a dick. Now I don't think you're an asshole. Like, I didn't say that, but like
no,
that's,
but
like
that was the result of that conversation.
Communicate.
Yes. Communication.
Yes.
So then let's flip it real quick. We got about 5-10 minutes left.
Yeah.
What's the most rewarding thing?
When people tell me stories about how like they're noticing that this is working outside the gym, like that, realizing that oh, this is benefiting me. That's the most rewarding thing.
Yes, and for me, and having the privilege of having done this for as long as I have, I can get even more specific. When people who were hopeless come and say that because of what they're doing here and the people they meet, it's not just our workouts, it's not just us, but because of their experience here, their entire life is better. Yeah. There's someone here.
I never had friends before this.
There's someone here who, when he first came in Lindale, he was a mess, and it'd be fun to call him a mess now. He's not with us in terms of membership. He's pulled away from because of work, but he now has a job because of connections he made here, and he got his first job because of connections he made here. Like everything that has happened good in his life is because of the amazing people that he met here. Mm-hmm. That's what's meaningful. Yeah. I love when you like a workout. I love it. I love when y'all like a workout. When you're like, man, that was fun. That makes my heart feel warm and fuzzy. That's great. But it pales in comparison to, like, I thought I was going to be on medication the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I thought I was going to be miserable the rest of my life. And we are so fortunate because we've laid the groundwork, and the athletes have run with it and built it from there. We laid it down, but they built on top of it. And now we have a community where amazing stuff happens. Yeah. And so,
that's been one of them, too. I'm off medication. I could do this now. I can do this on my own now. So it doesn't take so long.
Basically, like, when a plan comes together, Janai, like, the most rewarding thing is, like, when it all comes together. Because this isn't about a workout. Mm-hmm. The workout facilitates your experience, and your experience makes your life better. And so, to me, that's the most rewarding. I agree with you on that, Joel.
I think it's a good note. That's a good one to end on.
I think so. I was seeing if there's a fun one, maybe. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Yeah. That's a tough question.
That's a tough one.
Why do we ask that, like, of each other, like 16 years old?
I don't know.
What's your favorite food?
Well, because
like
food,
AOL?
Because food brings happiness. Like it's
unlike pizza. Now like adults are like, well, I like a medium thin crust pizza with pineapples and barbecue sauce. If you just said pizza, it'd like leave too much open.
You ever had that?
No, hell no.
It sounds good.
I'm not a pineapple guy.
I am.
I'm not an anti-pineapple. I don't understand the anti-pineapple. Like, those
are always funny. I get sent that a lot.
Mod Pizza is getting pineapple in. Have you been to
Did
Mod?
they not? No, I haven't been there.
No,
I've yet to go. It's like the Subway of pizza, right?
It's, let's say, Chipotle. There doesn't need to be a Subway of anything. Subway, you shouldn't even be a Subway.
Subway, eat fresh.
It's the Chipotle of pizza, and it's real smooth. It's cheap. Like, for as much as you get, you don't end up paying that much.
I haven't been there. I need to go. I don't know how they haven't had pineapples since the beginning.
Because not that many people get it.
I guess
they have the data, bro.
I guess they have the data.
They have the data.
Whatever. What statistics are y'all reading?
I don't know. I don't know about favorite food. I don't know what I would say.
You know what? I do know. I do know what it is. Like, my favorite is a huge baked potato.
That's interesting.
Baked potato with all the fixins and the meat, except for the chives.
Is there anywhere to get one, or do you make it yourself?
No. I wish. Oh, I should try that. No. So there used to be this little spot in my neighborhood that it burned to the ground. Literally, it burned to the ground. Okay. And now there's a car sales lot there, so I think it's I think that it was the people who wanted to put the lot there that burned the place down. I am dead serious. They burnt it down.
There used to be a place called McAllister's, and McAllister's sold giant spuds. And they also had great sweet tea, and they had good sandwiches. McAllister's. It was a chain. It was all over the country. And I guess I think it still exists in places. It's just not around here. It was a suburban place. It was always outside 610, different places. And
My mom said when she was pregnant with me, she had a baked potato almost every day.
well, maybe that's why you like it so much.
I know that's what I think. But man, I like me a good old baked potato.
Right now,
I haven't had one in a while.
the only thing that comes to mind is like I eat more plantains than anybody y'all know.
That's
I'll
good.
say that. I have an addiction to plantains.
Have you gone to Churrasco's yet?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they're plantains with
Madison
the salsa.
took me for my birthday, and it was
Yes.
perfect. It
It's
was
good,
a
it's
perfect
good,
restaurant,
it's
perfect
delicious.
experience, perfect plantains.
Did you go for brunch?
No, we went for dinner.
Okay. It's still good. It's still good.
Yeah, it
They
was
have- they have
so good.
It's a table, and it's just they intentionally put the bowl, and then they're like spilling out the bowl on the table.
Yeah.
When you go to brunch.
Yeah.
And that like it's just nuts. They have everything.
Yeah.
You gotta go to Churrasco's for brunch. It's awesome.
No, they gave me a tres leche, and they burned off a bunch of 151 rum on a wine glass and put on a whole show, and like
Nice.
it was incredible.
Nice.
It was incredible. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. We'll take some of these questions in next week. Thanks for Papa's Barbecue for Baked Potatoes. Thank you, Jay.
There you go.
Fogo de Chao. I'm going in June. That's why I take Madison for her birthday.
Whoop,
So
whoop.
that's a great recommendation. If you go for lunch, which is like till 3, so if you go before 3, you pay a little bit cheaper.
Ah.
So that's how you sneak in there.
I see.
Still not cheap, but
Yeah.
for endless meat, endless perfect meat,
Endless meat.
it's pretty damn good
Keep
deal.
that card green, y'all.
Oh, Robert, where were you, man? Why did you start Black Wolf? I need you to tune in next week earlier in the podcast with that
Screenshot.
big one of a question.
Well, we can't forget that one.
If y'all wrestled, who would win? Joel would win.
I don't know. I think you got better leverage.
I don't know how to use it anymore. So what's funny, Adam, is we both wrestled, but I only wrestled in middle school,
Yeah.
and so it's been way longer for me. And I was never, I was competitive, but not. I didn't go to high school to do it. So,
I did my senior year of high school.
So
I wish
Joel,
I did all 4 years. That was an
I do
awesome
too, man.
sport.
Looking back,
Man, that's an awesome sport.
Yes.
Holy shit.
yes.
And then we hear about it more with he who shall not be named on this podcast.
Forrest Griffin was on the other day, and he was like, in high school, I walk into this room, and it's a bunch of dudes working their ass off and suffering and sweating, and it's hot. And then I go to the next room, and it's the gymnasium, and it's a bunch of dudes in tank tops and air conditioners shooting some baskets whenever they want to. What do you think I chose? And you're like, wrestling? He goes, no, basketball, way easier.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thing. I was like, I don't want to be smothered by dudes. No, I don't want that. And then I do it in his senior year of high school. I'm like, man, I wish I did this all 4 years. It was the best.
There's something you learn about yourself by having your face just rubbed on a mat like
Oh.
every day of.
My first meet, I got a big slash across my forehead. I don't know how it happened. I just remember them stopping, like, "Oh, whoa, you're bleeding." I'm like, "What?" And I wiped my hand with the back of my head. My whole hand was just covered in blood. I'm like, what happened?
Did your headgear have fiberglass in it? Like,
I don't know what happened. It's just a nice little slash across, like.
thank y'all for coming through at
Right
the end. Now we're late, but that's
No.
fine. Y'all are awesome. Happy Friday. It is Easter. Regular schedule here, but I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous Easter week.
Woo!
We'll see y'all next week for episode 51.
That's the podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.